been tagged, and I was tagged by Joe of My Vintage Style Joe, and I am Jean with Kept in Stitches. So I guess I will answer all these questions that are in this wonderful quilting tag game that has been making the rounds, and then I will tag 3 people also to answer these questions. So the first question is, what is your favorite color? My favorite color is red. I love red, use a lot of red in everything around me. Who is my favorite fabric designer? That would be a tie. It would be a tie between Joe Morton, who is a Civil War era fabric designer and pattern designer. I've always loved the Civil War era vintage prints and mini quilts that she also designs. And the tie would be with Tilda fabrics that are designed by Tone Finisher. They are such a soft, beautiful, unique print that they just call me to create, and I cherish them. I love them. Yes, love everything about them. And a lot of her patterns also. My favorite snack, that would be chocolate, particularly dark silky chocolate, maybe with a little crunch thrown in. My favorite go-to block. Well, I've never met a block that I didn't love, but if I had to choose, it would be the Friendship Star block, because I just love what that block symbolizes, the meaning of friendship. My preferred cut of fabric, well, that would be by the bolt, of course, but if I can't have the bolt, I would prefer at least a 3-yard minimum cut. What TV quilter personality would I like to meet or spend time with? Oh gosh, there are a lot, but one beautiful, wonderful woman in particular by the name of Margaret Fabrizio. She is known in the YouTube world under the channel name of A3 and I have just recently become to know her, and I cannot describe her soul, her heart, her way of just drawing you in and mesmerizing you with her stories and her way of telling her style of quilting and how it speaks to her and how she speaks through her quilting. And she has brought me to my newest addiction and love in a new style of quilting known as quandee. And I will ever be indebted to her for that, because I just am totally addicted and do not want to put it down. It is all done by hand, and therefore you know it is going to be an everlasting true love of mine. And just her stories, her history, her telling of it through the beginning to the end, being with the city people themselves. Her stories are just awesome. I could sit for days with her and just talk non-ending. And then what time of day do I prefer to sew? Well, that would be probably 8 a.m. till midnight. All those hours in between. But particularly, I really like quilting early, first thing in the morning, and late, last thing in the evening. And I have a little friend down here who is wanting some attention, so sorry about the movement. And with that comes along, how much quilting time do I get to have? Well, I average 13 to 14 hours a day. Retired, have the stitching cottage right in my backyard, so I am pretty free to quilt most of the time that I want. A few responsibilities thrown in there occasionally, so yeah. Where do you store your fabric? where don't I store my fabric would be the question, but I store the majority of my fabric on custom shelves that I have had made for the various locations that my sewing rooms have been in, the latest being the Stitching Cottage. And I also have drawer units that I store them in. And I use a lot of the art bin style project plastic containers that I store a lot of projects in, but that is the way that I store the majority of my fabrics. Let me see, what other medium other than fabric do I enjoy creating with? Well, yarn, of course, and I also love junk journaling. I love card making. Anything that has to do with watercolors, colored pencils, gel paints, and I do consider it creating with another medium because I love to design unique flower beds. So that would be another thing that I do. I call it flower bed art. How long have you been sewing quilting? Oh, I've been sewing probably a little over 55 years, and I've been quilting for over 40 years. Have you made a scrappy quilt? Yes, I have made many scrappy quilts. That is one of my favorite forms of quilting. I love to just go and pull fabrics off of my shelf and just dive right in. And my question that I am going to add is, if you could add one thing to your sewing room space, what would it be? And my answer to that question, having a little desk down here, my answer to that question would be the walk-up loft that was originally part of the blueprint for the Stitching Cottage. Had to be put to the side and we weren't able to do that, but if that is one thing that I could have, I would love to have that walk-up loft, that area of quiet peacefulness that was in the original plan for the Stitching Cottage. So that is my answers to the questions, and the 3 people that I would like to tag is, and I forgot to write them down, of course, so they may have to be added in the description. Let me see if I can remember offhand with this little one bothering down here. I would like to tag Kelly of Kelly's Quilts and Cruises. I would like to tag, oh, goodness, stop. Elaine of, it's has the word THYME, time, in it. I will put that in the description box. And I would also like to tag, let me see, who would be the 3rd one that I would like to tag? I would like to tag Kathy of Kathy's Quilts and Crafts. So those are my 3, and we shall see what they have to say to the answers. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend. See you soon. Bye-bye.